My father was of the opinion that you earned what you got. Nothing was ever given to you. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, something would happen. Something nice. Something special. He was the boss, and that's what Denny and I called him. Even when we grew up, he was still tough, and he'd knock you on your ass if you were out of line. But he never held a grudge. You called him boss, but he was more than that. He was your friend. He was always behind you, helping you. His sister Fern Lee recalls, "We went to see Ride the High Country at a sneak preview, and when it was over, I went into the ladies' room and cried because the character, played by Joel McCrea, reminded me so much of my father, who had just died the year before. My father liked to quote the Bible, and could. The line, 'All I want to do is enter my house justified,' was a saying I often heard my father say." This was Peckinpah's tribute to the boss. When I was out of work and no one would hire me, Peckinpah recalled, I had to take anything to stay alive. I wrote longhand, which can be a problem because there are times I can't read my own writing. I was about to go into bankruptcy because I was blackballed from the industry because I'm a rebel and an asshole. It was one tough mother for more than 2 years. So Don Emilio and I are talking about the script when suddenly he says to me, "You know, the Wild Bunch, when they go into that town like that, are like when I was a child and we would take a scorpion and drop it on an anthill." And I said, "What?" And he said, "Yes, you see, the ants would attack the scorpion." And I said, "Get me the phone." And I dialed the producer in California, and I said to him, "I want ants and I want scorpions, and I don't care how you get them down here." I began rewriting immediately in order to get this sensational opening down on paper, and from that point on, that was the way I saw the whole picture. It was really a shame. Cable Hogue is possibly my best film, a real love story. I'm always criticized for putting violence in my films, but it seems that when I leave it out, nobody bothers to see the picture. Jason Robards and Stella Stevens gave 2 of their finest performances in that film. I still cry when he says to her, "Now there is a picture." And she says, "You've seen it before, Hogue." And Jason replies, "Lady, nobody's ever seen you before." Talk about a love scene. They were sensational. Dustin Hoffman was sensational, Peckinpah stated, an incredible actor. He was so far ahead of me through the first half of the picture, it wasn't even funny. Then somewhere, about halfway, we were doing a scene, and after we finished, he turned to me and smiled and said, "Got me." That was it. He realized I had finally caught him. But an actor must bring me something. I do my work, and I expect him to do his. When you work with someone like Dustin Hoffman, you really are up against the best. He forces you to work at controlling the character because he brings so much to the part. I loved working with Dustin. Lucian Ballard, the director of photography, remembered, "Sam wanted Preston to knock McQueen's hat off in the scene down by the railroad station, but Steve wouldn't go for it. He thought that it would make him look like less of a man, that it demeaned him in some way. Finally, he threw his cup of coffee at Sam and stormed off the set, and all Sam kept saying was, 'I want you to try it and see if it works.' Well, Steve would have no part of it. So I went up to him and explained that in reality, just sitting there and taking your punishment, if you want to call it that, from your father, made you more of a man. McQueen seemed to come around at that, and that's the way we shot it. And I think it worked beautifully on the screen." Peckinpah recalled, "I said to Slim, 'You read the lines in the script?' And Slim says, 'Yeah, I read them.' And I said, well, I want you to talk about marriage and love and morality. Sam said to me, throw some dialogue at McQueen and find out if he can act. Sam, by golly, he just told me to talk to him about morals and such. So I just ad-libbed the goddamn thing as we went down the road. Then for the part where McQueen's supposed to buy my truck, Sam said to me, I think you'd be horse trading. You just kind of hunker down while you're talking. Then when they gave me the money and I go off there, I don't know why, but I just felt so good I reached down and picked up that goddamn rock and threw it. It just felt right. So by golly, that's the way we did it. I said to Sam that we needed something in here to motivate my knocking him sideways. And Chris says, I'll say kiss my ass. And I said, that's good. I'll knock you clear over the table if you say that to me. So finally, we were doing one more rehearsal before shooting a master take of the scene. And suddenly Sam says, I don't believe a goddamn thing you're saying or you're doing. Just like that, out of nowhere. And you talk about my ego. I didn't say anything. I just closed my eyes. And it got all quiet on the set as Sam let me stand there for what must have been 5 or 10 beats, thinking and getting my head together. And I walked back to the chair in the corner, raging inside. Sam said, let's shoot it. And man, I came out of that corner and I was on fire. I said, on your knees. And he said, kiss my ass. And man, I exploded. I knocked him down and then pulled him up by the hair. Then at the end of the scene, I threw in the lines, I'm going across the street. I'm thirsty as hell. And as I walked past Sam, I heard him say, cut, phew. And he slid down in his seat. I mean, I was angry and Sam knew it. But he got me to put that anger into the part.